What if the biggest obstacle holding back electric cars, charging, suddenly disappeared? Imagine a world where every electric vehicle on the road could power itself. No plugs, no stations, no downtime. Science fiction? Maybe not, because one man, an African inventor named Maxwell Chikumbutso, claims he has developed a breakthrough technology that could make this future reality. Electric vehicles are rapidly reshaping the auto industry, but they face a stubborn problem: range anxiety and charging infrastructure. Even with fast chargers, drivers still depend on a fragile power grid and expensive batteries. The dream of a truly self-sufficient EV has remained out of reach until now. Maxwell Chikumbutso, a Zimbabwean inventor, stunned the tech world with his bold claims. At the heart of his work is a device he calls a self-charging power generator. Unlike traditional batteries that drain and require external charging, this system allegedly converts ambient energy into usable electricity, allowing an electric vehicle to recharge itself as it drives. Think of it as a constant energy loop, where movement doesn't end in depletion but in renewal, a car that charges while you use it. If this technology proves real and scalable, the consequences are nothing short of revolutionary. Charging stations? Obsolete. Massive lithium mining operations? Reduced. Oil dependency? Crushed. Every automaker would be forced to rethink their strategies, and the balance of global energy could shift overnight. From Africa's innovation hubs to the world's largest automotive giants, Maxwell's invention could redefine what it means to go electric. But here's the catch. Extraordinary claims demand extraordinary proof. Critics argue that Maxwell's system defies conventional physics. The inventor insists it has already powered functional prototypes. Independent testing, however, remains limited, and many in the scientific community remain skeptical. Is this the next industrial revolution or just another overhyped dream? Whether Maxwell's invention stands the test of time or not, one thing is clear. The race for self-powered vehicles has begun. Engineers, governments, and corporations are watching closely, because if one inventor can unlock the secret to limitless mobility, the world will never look at electric cars the same way again. But the story doesn't end there. Behind the scenes, whispers are growing louder. Private investors, automotive insiders, and even government officials are rumored to be quietly investigating Maxwell's work. Why? Because if his claims hold any truth, no corporation or nation can afford to ignore it. Imagine a world where Africa, often overlooked in the global tech race, suddenly holds the keys to a new energy age. A shift like this wouldn't just disrupt the EV market. It could rewrite the world's economic order. Oil cartels, battery giants, and even governments built on fossil fuel revenues would face a direct threat. Think about it. If self-charging vehicles became mainstream, nations heavily dependent on oil exports could collapse overnight. Entire economies might crumble, while others would rise. The US, Europe, China, they would all scramble to secure access to this technology, not because they want it, but because they cannot afford their rivals to have it first. Innovation isn't just about technology. It's about power, political power, economic power, and the power to shape the future of humanity. And Maxwell's invention, if real, could put Africa at the center of this storm. But here's where the story twists again. Information about Maxwell's prototypes is scarce. Some reports claim his early vehicles ran for months without recharging. Others say demonstrations were shut down unexpectedly, raising suspicion of pressure from powerful interests. Is someone trying to silence him? Or is the science itself simply not ready for the spotlight? Behind closed doors, pressure is mounting. Reports have surfaced of corporate lobbyists warning policymakers about the dangers of self-powered vehicles. The argument? If cars no longer rely on charging stations or fuel, trillions of dollars in infrastructure and investment could vanish overnight. And with that much money on the line, silence becomes a powerful weapon. Some speculate that Maxwell's journey has been slowed not by science, but by politics and corporate resistance. After all, history has shown us time and time again that revolutionary ideas often face their greatest enemies not in laboratories, but in boardrooms. Meanwhile, scientists around the globe are racing to uncover whether Maxwell's claims are truly possible. Could there be a hidden principle of physics, something overlooked, that allows for continuous, renewable energy on the move? Or is this an invention ahead of its time, waiting for the world to catch up? The search for proof is intensifying. Independent labs in Europe, Asia, and America are said to be conducting quiet experiments inspired, if not directly connected, to Maxwell's designs. Some findings remain under wraps, fueling both curiosity and conspiracy. And as this unfolds, one continent stands a unique position: Africa. For decades, Africa has been seen as a resource supplier for the rest of the world, providing raw materials, not leading the technology race. But with innovators like Maxwell, the script may finally flip. Africa could emerge not as a follower, but as the epicenter of the next energy revolution. This shift wouldn't just change transportation. It would reshape Africa's identity on the world stage, transforming it into a hub of invention where the future of global mobility might actually begin. But the ultimate question remains: will Maxwell's technology break through the walls of skepticism, secrecy, and resistance? Or will it vanish into the shadows, like so many groundbreaking inventions before it? The world is waiting, and if Maxwell is right, the wait may soon be over. Whispers soon turn into rumors, and rumors into sightings. In small, controlled gatherings, a handful of people claim to have witnessed Maxwell's prototypes in motion. Cars that drove for hours without recharging, devices humming quietly under the hood, a system that seemed to rewrite the very rules of energy consumption. These demonstrations, though rare and shrouded in secrecy, have stirred an underground storm. Videos vanish from the internet almost as quickly as they appear. Witnesses speak of something extraordinary, yet proof remains elusive. It's as if the world is being given a glimpse, just enough to believe, but never enough to confirm. And make no mistake, the automotive industry is paying attention. Behind polished press releases, major car makers are quietly restructuring research teams, investing heavily into alternative power systems, and even reaching out to African innovators. Because whether or not Maxwell's technology is real, the threat of its possibility is enough to send shockwaves through boardrooms worldwide. Imagine the panic inside companies that have invested billions into charging infrastructure. A single breakthrough could render years of planning and mountains of money obsolete. But it's not just corporations that feel the heat. Governments, too, are moving in the shadows. Energy ministries and defense departments are rumored to be studying the implications of a self-powered machine. Because in the wrong hands, such a system could be more than just a car. It could power drones, ships, even entire grids independently of fuel or national infrastructure. And with that kind of potential, the race is no longer just about cars. It's about control. But while the world debates, speculates, and secretly prepares, one man remains at the center: Maxwell Chikumbutso. Brilliant, controversial, and elusive, he continues his work largely away from the spotlight. Interviews are rare, and public appearances even rarer. To some, he is a visionary fighting against impossible odds. To others, he is a dreamer promising the impossible. Yet through the silence, one truth resonates: Maxwell refuses to stop. And if he succeeds, he may not just change the future of transportation. He could alter the course of human history. Then it happened. A clip, barely 2 minutes long, surfaced on a small tech forum before spreading like wildfire across social media. It showed what appeared to be a sleek electric SUV, said to be fitted with Maxwell's generator. The vehicle drove in circles for hours, monitored by onlookers with timers in hand. No charging cable, no pit stops, just motion. Within 24 hours, the video had millions of views. Debunkers rushed to explain it away. Some said it was staged. Others claimed hidden charging sources. But to those watching closely, the details didn't add up. This wasn't a trick anyone could easily pull off. Mainstream outlets picked up the story, some cautiously, others sensationally. Headlines range from "African inventor breaks physics" to "The future of cars is here, or is it?" The debate spilled across talk shows, podcasts, and news channels. For the first time, Maxwell's work wasn't just whispered about. It was on the global stage. But with attention came pressure. Calls for proof, for transparency, for independent testing grew louder. And that's when the pushback began. Strangely, the video disappeared from most platforms almost as quickly as it appeared. Copyright claims, unexplained takedowns, entire accounts wiped out. Some argued it was coincidence. Others believed it was suppression, fueled by powerful players who stood to lose everything if Maxwell's tech was real. The harder the world tried to look, the more invisible the evidence became, and that only fueled the mystery further. Inside the auto industry, nervous laughter turned into late-night emergency meetings. Engineers quietly admitted that if Maxwell's technology could scale, the rules of engineering itself might need rewriting. Executives, once dismissive, began sending out confidential scouting teams to Africa. The stakes had grown too high to ignore. Because if even a fraction of Maxwell's claims are true, the company or country that secures this technology first won't just win the EV race. They'll dominate it. Then came something no one expected. Private invitations. Select scientists, engineers, and even government officials from multiple countries reportedly received encrypted messages, inviting them to a discreet gathering in an undisclosed African location. The promise? A first-hand look at what Maxwell's technology could do. The secrecy was intense. Attendees were required to sign non-disclosure agreements, surrender their phones, and agree to surveillance while on site. To some, it felt like entering a classified military facility, not a tech showcase. Inside a remote hangar, the story goes, stood a prototype unlike any other. Not sleek or polished, but functional. An electric vehicle fitted with Maxwell's mysterious generator. Witnesses later described the sound as unnervingly quiet, a steady hum, and the feeling that something extraordinary was unfolding before their eyes. The car was driven. Hours passed. Then more hours. Still, the battery levels barely moved. Data monitors displayed figures that defied conventional physics, numbers that should have been impossible. And yet there was... The reaction among the select audience was split. Some stood in silent awe, realizing they were witnessing a paradigm shift. Others shook their heads, refusing to believe the data even as it stared them in the face. But the most telling reactions were not spoken aloud. They were the hurried phone calls made immediately after the demonstration. Within days, whispers emerged that several countries had already begun negotiations. Not public, not official, but in back channels, offers of funding, research partnerships, even relocation. Everyone wanted a piece of Maxwell's secret. But with interest came danger. Reports of surveillance, mysterious break-ins, and intercepted communications began to surface around Maxwell's circle. Some close to him claimed he was being followed. Others suggested entire governments had formed task forces to monitor his every move. The invention was no longer just an idea. It was now a target. The world had entered a new phase, a quiet, invisible war. A war not fought with armies, but with secrecy, influence, and a relentless pursuit of technology that could change everything. Despite the secrecy, despite the non-disclosure agreements, despite the surveillance, information always finds a way. Weeks after the hidden demonstration, a confidential data file surfaced online. It contained test results, energy readouts, and video evidence of Maxwell's prototype running far beyond capacity of any known EV system. For the first time, the world had undeniable proof. This wasn't a rumor. It was real. The leak spread like wildfire. News agencies scrambled, governments issued urgent statements, and automakers went into full crisis mode. Charging stations? Their future was now in question. Oil-rich nations? Their economies faced an existential threat. Overnight, Maxwell Chikumbutso became one of the most important and most targeted figures on Earth. Negotiations turned into open bidding wars. Corporations offered billions. Nations offered protection. But Maxwell, true to his mission, declared that his invention was not for sale. It was for humanity. He announced plans to release the blueprints to the world, ensuring that no single entity could control the future of limitless energy. The announcement stunned the globe. Some hailed him as a visionary. Others branded him a threat to global stability. But what could not be denied was this. The age of dependence on charging stations, on oil, on fragile grids, was ending. A new chapter had begun. And so, from a small workshop in Africa, a spark was lit that spread across the planet. Maxwell's technology transformed not just cars, but ships, drones, homes, even entire cities. The dream of self-powered machines became reality, and with it, humanity stepped into an era of true energy independence. The world would never be the same again.